We're back live on the Alex Jones Show. I'm joined in studio by Anthony Gucciardi, who had an interesting experience this past weekend in Houston with grope-down procedures being conducted outside of music concerts. Of course, we've seen that back before. In 2012, we had a report where the Detroit Music Festival was staffed by these individuals who carried out TSA-style grope-downs. We're going to talk about that. Ebola. We're going to go to more of your calls at 1-800-259-9231. Anthony, tell us about this experience this past weekend.
Well, it's amazing to me that no matter what you're doing, it seems that you cannot escape the police state. You cannot escape being treated like a terrorist in the way that they once said that these groping protocols. I'm talking about flashlights looking down your pants, and there's photos we're going to show you if you're watching live on prisonplanet.tv or infowars.com/show. But overall, you cannot escape being groped and treated like a terrorist. And what happened was I was convinced, hey, you know, with some friends, let's go see this show. Let's go see a major show. It's outside of Houston at this pavilion. And I actually thought the whole premise was it's a distraction, right? Get away from all of this, get away just for a couple of hours from the whole spectrum of the police state and all of this research. So not only, though, is there a 2-hour line to get in, about a 2-hour line sitting there waiting because of these security agents, which is a private security firm led by these police that were going back and forth. But what was happening was it was a TSA-style search. I'm talking about, and we're going to show you, having people take their shoes off, lifting your shirt up to about your nipple area, them going in with flashlights, grabbing your pants and boxers, pulling them back, looking in. And meanwhile, there's speaker system saying, like, stay in an orderly line. You will be searched according to the security protocols of this pavilion. You know, just worthless bureaucracy. And all of these security, quote unquote, agents are like nothing against them. Just, you know, 70-year-old men that probably couldn't work at Walmart going in and searching you and just asking you the same questions. Do you have anything on your person that's not allowed in the venue? And they just will pull your pants back with a flashlight and search you. And there was an older guy next to us who was really nice. And he just was like, oh, yes, I haven't, you know, been to such a venue in a while. He was walking through and they're like, okay, sir, take your shoes off. He had a cane. He couldn't even walk and he had to bend down. Someone was trying to help him take his shoes off. They didn't even help him at all. Some woman had to help him. And we had been saying things like, you know, this is insane. And I went and I said, look at this Al-Qaeda terrorist right here. And it was the older guy, right? And I'm going to go into the story a little because there was a guy in front of me with a crew cut and he looked like a Fed, really, but I didn't think anything of it. I'm not always constantly saying Fed, Fed, Fed. But as it turns out, it was me and my friend. We were saying, look at this, you know, racist over here being facetious. Look at this terrorist. Look at this Al-Qaeda operative, this older gentleman trying to get through security. Well, the guy in front of us didn't like that. And he was with his wife. And
you've got one that can see.
Yes, exactly. Well, he was saying to her, you know, no, this is good. This is actually helping people, blah, blah, blah. But we kept saying, like, look at all these terrorists, being facetious because we weren't going to stand for it. I was thinking about leaving. So he goes up and actually tells his cop buddies, oh, those guys are causing trouble over there. So by the time we get up there, not only did they just search us with the whole make you take your shoes off and everything like that, which they didn't make me take my shoes off because I acted like a subservient little peon, but they double searched us. I mean, he was literally taking the flashlight and looking down my boxers.
Meanwhile, people are coming in from Ebola-hit countries and getting absolutely no questions whatsoever, receiving no treatment. We had the doctor earlier. We had the CNN news crew a week before that. But God forbid, Anthony, you should try to go to a music concert and have fun. Then they'll be really on you. I mean, ridiculous.
Well, that's the whole point. And I've actually wrote an article about it with some pictures you can see on Infowars.com. It just went up about 4 minutes ago. The key thing here is not only is this a crazy enactment of the police state, a crazy show of power, worthless. They're not catching terrorists. I'll give them an exorbitant amount of money if they caught a terrorist with ISIS that night. Now, here's the thing. They're not even screening the Ebola patients, the Ebola victims that we know are coming from West Africa or wherever. They're not even screening them with the degree of scrutiny that they screened me to go into a concert.
Exactly.
The people with Ebola that hypothetically they're saying, you know, it's so bad. And we talked about 2 weeks ago about it, our predictions. I think we have a clearer view now. We get into that too, where the end game is going, take callers to get their opinion. But overall, I think we finally understand where it's all going. But they're not even screening people with Ebola like this. but they're going to make me take my shirt up and look down my boxers with a flashlight to go listen to some music. Yet they can come in and pose a threat, as they claim, potentially to millions. Millions could die from Ebola patient, since the nurses apparently in full hazmat gear can still get Ebola. But that's not a big issue. No, it's not a big issue because they just leave the borders open. Joe Biggs can go dress up as ISIS and cross the border. O'Keefe can dress up as Osama bin Laden. That's not an issue. The real issue is people going to concerts or going to sporting events and trying to bring in a can of high fructose corn syrup soda to the movie theater, which will get you arrested.
And another side issue on that, what does it say about people who take these jobs? I mean, that is basically the slag heap of humanity, that they're forced to take those kind of jobs. Are they not even good enough for TSA at this point?
No, it is the slag heap. It's the runoff of everything. It's the bureaucracy. Because here's how it works. I've flown multiple times recently. Actually, I have to fly all the time now. And sometimes I'll have a TSA agent, a professional. They will actually be like, hey, I know you want to opt out. It's not a big deal. It's smart. Yeah, no, they'll actually get it. And they'll be like, sorry, we have to do this. But other times I've had people say, why are you opting out? And I say, well, I don't want to go through the naked body scanners that save your image and actually emit you with radiation. They go, oh, yeah, okay, And they actually, they are supposed to call it. They're supposed to say opt out, and you go through the line, and someone comes and pats you down like a good slave. But what they'll do is they'll wait like 30 minutes.
They make an example out.
Oh, yeah. And then they'll do the pat down if they're the same gender, and they'll just pat you down. They'll be like, do you have any sensitive areas? Just like pushing you really hard. They just love it. So there's two types of people. There is the horrible, bureaucratic, evil, slag heap, bad, horrible people that are actually running some of this because they're mentally insane. And statistically, psychopaths and sociopaths will rise up way quicker because they can fake emotion, and there's been studies about it. One of the first ones came out about 2 months ago. They can fake emotion, which intrinsically people are attached to. Now, those types of people are horrible. But at the same time, there are people working at those venues that just want a job, that want to make $30,000 a year, that live in the country and don't know what they're doing. But either way, they're still servicing the same purpose. They're still doing the same task, which is depleting us of every single piece of freedom that we still have, while you can just run across the border. So that's the irony of it. That's why most people are getting it, though, and we are winning, because most people are saying this is ridiculous. A 2-year-old could see this. A 3-year-old could literally do a report on this and be 100% more intellectually capable than the CDC on all of this.
And the story is up on Infowars.com. Photos, concert venues. Now search inside your pants. TSA-style concert security agents use flashlights in invasive search. That took place just this past weekend.
Introducing the first proprietary oxygen-based intestinal cleanser, OxyPowder. Backed by real FDA-approved phase 1, 2, and 3 clinical trials. People are suffering from all kinds of digestive issues these days. All the toxins from the air, the food, the water, ultimately ends up in the gut or affects the gut. My main focus was to come up with a remedy for this, something that's safe and effective that anyone can take on a regular basis to keep their intestinal lining clean. My recommendation is to clean your intestines at least 2 to 3 times a week to prevent the toxic buildup from going into your bloodstream. Take your health into your own hands and start cleansing your body today with OxyPowder. Secure your OxyPowder today at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com.